Lennon, I got a little question to pose to you. What is your favorite type of villain?
I like the thick ones, the sexy ones, the purple ones. The villains with the itty bitty waist.
Is this all about Thanos? Is this just all you think is sexy and thick?
Next question.
That ball section gets us all, bro. No, yeah. Well, my favorite type of villain is one that is a little bit justified, but that does come with a bit of a double-edged sword because sometimes you can fly too close to the sun. You can justify a character so much that it's arguable if they're even a villain. That's what I want to talk about in today's little video. I've compiled a list of villains that I just want to have a little chat to you about as my buddy. I just want to soundboard these off you, disagree or agree, whatever you want. These are villains that I feel like are pretty much correct. They're 100% right.
So they had a point before they didn't.
Yeah, they had a point, and then the movie just sort of had to remind us that they were villains. Like this is sort of examples
the bad guy,
of like,
by the way.
Yeah. If you delete like maybe one or two scenes, or like you have a little nap while watching the movie and skip one or two scenes, you would be fully justified in thinking that the heroes are beating up someone that they just like sort of don't agree with, but they're totally right. I think this all started, I can't remember if it's the first, it's probably one of the more popular ones, but Killmonger's the first one that I want to talk about.
Sure.
He sort of started, well, do you remember when Black Panther came out?
Yeah, I think it was 2018.
Yeah, do you find it weird how many white people were doing the Wakanda salute? Do you think that's us?
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of like mentally blocked that out of my mind.
There's a lot of people doing that.
Yeah.
They're the real villains, and perfectly justified. No.
I just remember like the backlash behind. I think people being like, oh well, this is actually kind of like an average movie. And then there was like really extreme people being like, oh, you're just saying that because there's a bunch of black people in it. It's just like, what? Why is this like this public discourse happening over a Marvel movie?
I'm not gonna lie though, I do really like Black Panther as a character. I think this movie was good, but there is this little tidbit and I think this is the crux of my issues with Black Panther is Killmonger was right. Yeah? Like he's the ultimate, he lost the fight but not the battle. Like he's one of those villains where his philosophy did change Wakanda going forward. From his perspective, his daddy got killed by a Black Panther.
Yeah, he just got handed like a pile of shit, basically.
Yeah, and then he was raised in the sticks and he sees this, he knows about this super advanced African nation that just doesn't help the oppressed of the world, and he's watching, and he's also, he's traveled, he's a war veteran, he goes around the world, basically to the worst places in the world, seeing this oppression with his own eyes. He's 100% right to say to Wakanda, hey, use your tech to help people that look like us and otherwise. Literally the only bad things he does is he kills Zuri when he tried to intervene in that ritual combat. Lots of people say like he was trying to kill T'Challa in the ritual combat. That's what that is.
Yeah.
That's what,
how dare he?
How dare he? That's part of the customs there. That's what they do. That's what that is. Like, I don't know. What are your thoughts on Killmonger being a bad guy in this movie?
Ultimately, I think that his whole plan or his motivation was that he wanted Wakanda to use its resources and advanced tech to liberate oppressed black people worldwide and not just the Wakandans. And he aimed to overthrow this global system of oppression by extension. But I don't know. I just think that instead of focusing on liberation, the film just kind of pushes him into this like world domination mode or like this scorched earth solution. And I think that that's how he kind of goes a little bit too far. I will say though, there's that scene, he's like the original aura farmer before aura farming was the thing, where he like takes his shirt off and he's like, look at all these
Michael B. Jordan.
Look at all these confirmed kills on my body. Am I right, everyone? Look at this. This is really cool. Sick, I'm also flexing right now if you can't tell, but
that is sick.
Yeah.
That is sick. All right, well, okay. I think we've shared thoughts of that. I guess the next big one that comes up in a lot of these Marvel discussions is Thanos. That literally the memes of Thanos was right, da.
Yeah.
I think this one's maybe a little bit less justified, but let me back in the ballsack chin guy that gives you a boner for a second.
Okay.
Okay, your boyfriend.
Yeah, I felt like you're about to be racist against some purple folk, and I don't like where this is going.
I'm allowed to be. They're aliens. They're not real. I think the movies even do prove that Thanos is right to an extent. I mean, from his point of view, he saw his homeworld die thanks to limited resources. So this ends justify means approach does make sense for that guy. Like if someone was here on Earth and we just fucked it and the whole planet died, yeah, you would sort of understand why a martyr type would go forth into the universe and be like, hey, let's sort this out. Even when he comes back in Endgame, oh no, not when he comes back, at the start of Endgame, you know, a lot of characters are saying, hey, the world's become less crowded, we're better off. You know, you have Cap in that scene with the therapy session. You have the Avengers all talking. I'm pretty sure Black Widow says something to that effect. There are, like, everyone's horribly depressed, but the resource, like, they're not gonna die. I don't know, you can see that there are some points there. I don't know, but then again, it takes just the smallest bit of imagination. You have a glove that has unlimited power. You can rewrite reality enough to kill half.
Why didn't he
all
ask for
things.
double the resources?
Yeah, you know where I'm going with this. It's not even that hard to figure out. There's so many unpopulated planets in the universe.
Double
Fill
all
those
the
of
planets.
resources.
Yeah.
No, wait. Double all the planets, double all the problems. But no, like just fill those planets with, like, here is a planet of fresh air.
Excuse me, Gauntlet, can you double my thickness, please?
And give Lennon my number. No, I mean, like, okay, so if we're talking about, like, you know, Killmonger versus Thanos, they both technically have sort of like a resource problem, in terms of one has resources of justice and one has resources of, I guess, I don't know, food. I don't even know why Titan blew itself up. But in the end, Thanos, well, I think he proves himself insane at the end of it anyway, because when he comes back, you know, the younger, more militarized version of him comes back. He's just like, I'm just going to wipe the slate clean and make a new place that just honors me better. That's a little bit crazy. What are your thoughts? Put your man crush aside. What are your thoughts on Thanos?
So I'll make sure that my affinity for the ballsack chin doesn't impact what I'm about to say here, but I actually think, as far as execution goes, everyone, I think, unanimously agrees that the Infinity War and Endgame movies did Thanos an incredible justice. And I don't really know what he's like from the comics. From what you've told me, and from what I've seen online, he's a fucking lunatic.
He's just in love with death.
Yeah,
He wants to kill half the universe to make the physical
He's just an incel trying to impress death, basically.
Yeah, and guess what? It's a love triangle between you, him, and death. I'm wedging that one back in. No, sorry, continue.
Instead of the summer I turned pretty, it's the summer I turned Thanos' head my way. Get out of my way, Dad. But no, so I think that with the execution, I think the reason why I think it works better here for Thanos than it did for Killmonger is that, yes, Killmonger kind of had that switch where he's like, oh, I'm fucking really evil now, basically, where Thanos, he really seemed measured the whole way through. He said he was going to execute a certain plan. He stuck with it. The plan did not change. And he ultimately succeeded in doing the plan. And you can also see at the start of Endgame that he's kind of, it's almost like he's contemplative or reflective on what he's done. And he almost feels like he's grown or changed from it, even though he basically committed genocide. That's not me trying to give him brownie points or anything, but it's just, I don't necessarily think he had a sudden turn. I think that he just kind of had his plan, stuck to it and did it. And then that younger version of him that comes through at the end is a younger version of Thanos that hasn't actually executed or seen the other side of the plan just yet. So he's more like Thanos was at the start of Infinity War. Do I think he has a point? I do think resource management is a massive issue, and apparently, according to him, it's not just unique to, the Earth. It is something that is apparently universal. But I guess, like we were just poking fun at before, the plot point holes with that plan is just like, why don't you just request more resources? So it's like he obviously just wanted to kill people and impress death, basically.
He was an insane person.
Yeah.
The last little tidbit that I'll leave between, I guess we just defaulted Thanos versus Killmonger, but there's also something that I just thought of that adds to his humanity a little bit, the alien, is that Killmonger kills his girlfriend and doesn't shed a tear.
Oh, yeah.
In Black Panther.
I forgot about that.
Thanos kills his daughter and is distraught over it. Anyway,
Yeah.
That's something I think humanizes his mission a little bit more, even though I probably agree with Killmonger's way more, because Thanos is an idiot that can't think of doubling stuff.
Sure.
Half off, all must go. But yeah, no, okay, on to our next guy. Zemo from, oh god, where'd Zemo come in? Civil War. I'm thinking of him mainly from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I genuinely think, okay, this is one of those characters where I think if you just get rid of one thing that he did, he is 100% right.
Yeah.
The Avengers were left unchecked and probably needed some foresight. I don't agree with them being overridden by General Ross, but whatever.
You mean to tell me that you're Team Tony?
I'm actually not.
Okay.
And that's because Cap's hotter, and I follow the hottest coin in the biz.
Okay.
No, I think Zemo was 100% right. And think about things from his perspective. His family and country were destroyed because of Ultron, which was just Tony and Bruce's little. If the Avengers didn't exist, Ultron wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
You know, that is 100% their own doing. Even at the end, those super soldiers that Tony and Cap rushed to try to intercept, we know they were crazy killers from that flashback with Winter Soldier. Like, he ended up killing those. They were insane villains, and Zemo killed them. I don't know. I think is completely justified within this movie. The only thing that I think that undoes that is the assassination of T'Chaka, the King of Wakanda.
Yeah.
I have no idea why. Like, I don't think his plan would have worked any differently if he didn't do that. I mean, Bucky was already on the run. There could have been anything that he'd done other than kill the king of a country.
Yeah, I didn't even think of it like that.
I don't think his plan changes.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think his plan changes at all.
You're blowing my mind right now. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, like, I don't think his plan changes at all if he doesn't kill the King of Wakanda.
I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, I think his plan makes sense. Like, you know, civilian casualties caused by unchecked superheroes, it's a serious issue. And I don't know if it's mentioned in the MCU or if it's just like a theory that it's like, none of these superhuman or these supervillain things would have existed until basically the birth of Tony Stark becoming Iron Man, and then that has put forward into motion this ripple effect which has brought upon this age of superheroes and villains. And I just think that the plan itself has merit, and I do think that the idea of like, hey, the perspective of, look at these assholes flying in the sun. They're unchecked and they're doing whatever they damn please while my family over here is getting killed, and like there's no sympathy for me. Like, you can really sympathize with the guy, but rather than just being like, I don't know, like a valid whistleblower, he just kind of like what you touched on, like he becomes a terrorist bomber and this assassin, and then it's just like, damn, dude. I really love the story arc with how, you know, Black Panther basically stops him from shooting himself, and I think that is really interesting.
That's a great T'Challa moment.
Yeah, and I guess disclaimer for later on in this, I guess when we talk about someone else, I haven't exactly seen. Oh god, I can't even remember anything from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So
I keep trying to call it Bucky and the Winter Soldier because obviously I love that man.
So
but, yeah.
they're both the same, but who?
They're actually two sides of the same coin. They're different people entirely.
Oh wow.
Don't do that to my boy.
We'll save that for the. We should actually make a video called Bucky and the Winter Soldier, and like it's us breaking down the dichotomy, which is that handsome man. But
who is who?
Was there anything that stood out with Baron Zemo in that show?
I think a lot. Actually, to be honest, I know you haven't really watched it. You probably watched it like in the background a little bit. Zemo is one of the highlights of that show. And he does again everything he wanted to do in that show. All he wanted to do when he was released from prison was get rid of all the
super soldiers, right?
Superhero. Yeah. And there's a bunch of new superhero serum out there. And he effectively, you know, he crushes all the serum that hasn't been put in. He kills the scientists that remade it. He blows up the surviving super soldiers at the end of the series, other than John Walker. Yeah. So he effectively does everything he wants to do, but he has got this great line. He's talking to Falcon and Winter Soldier. He's saying, the desire to become a superhuman cannot be separated from supremacist ideals, which from his point of view makes perfect sense. You know, absolutely. He grew up in a, you know, Eastern European sort of country. Even if you look at what's around him in the modern era, the last superhero that had super serum that was good was Steve Rogers in World War II. Since then, the Russians made the Red Guardian, who was not a good guy for a lot of time. Well, like he was involved with the Black Widow program, Hydra made the Winter Soldier and all these evil ones that he killed in the last movie. And then the only other one that is a superhero is, a super soldier is, Karli Morgenthau and their terrorist sort of group, and John Walker. And John Walker's whole thing is he wasn't going to take the serum until he got his back blown out by a bunch of unpowered black women, the Wakandans. So like, it is, he has a point. Like he has a very valid point there. I can't really fault him. But then again, the only evil thing he really does, he takes, he's a soldier by trade. He's going to kill his targets for sure. Similar to a lot of heroes, Iron Man kills his targets. The only thing they did wrong was kill a king for no reason.
Yeah.
I don't get it. Moving on to the next one, the Vulture. So Vulture, I don't have much to say about this one because I feel like it's more of his basis isn't bad, but yes, the way he goes about things is bad, but there's two actions that he takes that if I was to delete that from the movie, I would still sort of consider him almost like an anti-hero. The Vulture's literally just a working class guy who got screwed over by the big rich corporate dudes. Like in a lot of media, if this same storyline was applied, he would be the good guy. Tony Stark government-funded damage control swooped in and left him and his crew completely jobless when they'd already promised money. He wasn't out to conquer or destroy anything. He just wanted to provide for his family and his crew. I don't really see any of those character motivations being a bad guy. He goes about it in a sort of creepy, sus way. But if the Punisher can just straight up murder people on the street and he's a good guy, anti-hero, whatever. I don't know. I just don't see that as being a bad person. I just see that as being a guy who got screwed over and is making the most of what he can in this universe. I don't know. There's probably like two moments that cement him as a bad guy. These are the two moments that I think, if you were to delete, it would be fine. He's all about, and I almost consider these out of character, but he's all about saving his crew or helping out his crew, and then he kills the first Shocker and sort of makes a joke about it. Do you remember when he like evaporates?
Yeah, I was just like, oh, okay.
Yeah,
that came out of nowhere.
That did feel like it came out of fucking nowhere. And then, he threatens Peter Parker. He threatens a child.
Yeah.
Laid on into it. But he's also sort of right about Peter Parker because he does call him out for basically just doing the bidding of some elite without understanding why he's doing it. So like the Iron Boy Jr. sort of stuff that Spider-Man had a lot early on in the MCU. He's not 100% wrong there either. I don't know. What are your thoughts on our favorite poor boy, working class man, Vulture?
I don't really have too much else to say because, I feel like that whole thing that you went through, you pretty much covered everything. But yeah, I'd just say that, he's a victim of corporate consolidation and the fallout of superhero battles. And he's kind of just like this representation of the little guy versus the big guys, the billionaires and elites and all that stuff. And I don't think he really did that much wrong. He killed his own dude. But outside of that, he was...
And it was sort of an accident. He thought it was an anti-grav gun, and but I think he was just so nonchalant about it after. I'm like, oh, evil.
I think that he probably is the least nefarious out of this list so far. Like he just is kind of just trying to, in his own illegal way, basically look after his family and the people employed underneath him. So in a way, his intentions are, you could almost argue that they're quite honorable. But yeah, obviously he's trying to amass this wealth in a very dishonorable way. I love the scene, completely unrelated, but the scene where he is threatening Peter Parker in the car. Oh my God,
it's genuinely scary.
So fucking good, dude. If anyone talked to me like that, I'd be shitting myself. I'd leave. I'd be like, nah,
next
okay.
time we hang out.
I'm not going to talk to your daughter. Sorry. Bye. But
that's us in 10 years.
Yeah, basically.
Don't talk to my daughter.
But yeah, that's basically it. I don't really have anything else to say. I think that he's a very likable villain, and at the grand scheme of things, I think that for a Spider-Man, the first solo Spider-Man movie, because he's kind of like doing the on the ground neighborhood stuff to a certain degree. So it's a really
arguably when Spidey works best.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it.
All right. Well, next one I had on my little list of people that probably shouldn't be bad guys is Namor. So, not the best movie, Black Panther 2, but whatever, we'll move on.
I think everything with Namor in it is incredible.
Namor is the movie.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
Namor
the best
is
part of the
that
movie.
Yeah, I rewatched the movie recently, and I didn't realize this. I completely forgot about this, but that spooky music, that TikTok.
Oh, that TikTok sound. Yeah, dude, that's from this movie. I completely forgot.
Yeah, I completely. As soon as I heard it, I thought my phone was open. Like, I was like, where is that coming from? But yeah, no, like, okay, thinking about, again, things from his perspective, he's literally seen colonizers take a land for resources before, and it's happening again when the US found out about his vibranium, or they start discovering it. And their first move, the first move from the surface world was exploitation. It wasn't, commerce or anything like that. Namor wanted initially Wakanda as an ally, because they're the only nation with vibranium that could understand his struggle. So his argument is basically join forces now, because once the surface world discovers us, they'll come for both Wakanda and Talokan, which was his underwater Atlantis type thing. That's a valid argument from a world leader. He is effectively a world leader. And from a survival standpoint, he wasn't wrong. He was preparing for a fight that was pretty much inevitable. That's all 100% correct behavior from a king, I would say. I don't know, what's your thoughts on all that?
Yeah, I agree. Maybe because for the sake of the movie, they had to really speed along the plot, because realistically, I don't see someone... The big breakdown from memory between Namor, like Talokan, and the Wakandans is the fact that he is hellbent on like trying to kill... is it Riri Richards or whatever her name is? Ironheart?
Oh, Ironheart, yeah.
Yeah, basically the whole plot or the point of contention between these two nations is the fact that he wants to kill her, so that way word of Talokan, and also by extension Wakanda, doesn't reach the surface world. Or I think not so much Wakanda, but Talokan, because Wakanda already announced themselves, and he's just like, yeah, I don't know why the fuck you guys did that. It was so stupid. Yeah. But in reality, he would have just done it. He wouldn't have just not killed her. But also at the same time, I think that they kind of tried to rush through, because I think that a king or a world leader, they would try to do it as diplomatically as possible, or be like, hey, we are both victims of essentially colonization or resource exploitation, and we need to ally ourselves. But he never stepped outside of the whole, I really want to ally with you guys, but I still got to kill this bitch, you know what I mean? Like, I gotta still...
Yeah, I wait, this one point, I ain't budging on it. I'm not budging on it. I'm sorry, this is a no move for me, pal. She gotta die. I don't like the way she looked at me.
That's about it for me.
She looked at my little wing feet, and I got embarrassed.
Don't look at him! No, don't look at him!
I think you're 100% correct. He did sort of die on that hill unnecessarily, but I think the big point that I think is like a little bit brutal is, remember, he did kill, when he eventually does go, okay, Wakanda's not going to be my friend. There's 100 ways he could have played this. I think this is almost out of character, but he brutally invades Wakanda and kills Queen Ramonda.
Yeah, dude, it's like fucking the second Namor hits the building and just fucking kills the mom.
Yeah, this is their 9/11.
He's like, consider this mercy or whatever. I'm like, dude, you just fucking domed the Queen.
I forgot that is pretty cold. That is. I'm back on his side again. That's cold as hell. And then, he gave Shuri an ultimatum, which at that point, that does feel out of character, because that's sort of the same sort of forceful entrance that he's trying to spare his kingdom from. I don't know. I mean, I guess it is very Namor from the comics, but the Namor that we got in the movie did not scream that to me, because Namor in the comics is arrogant as all hell.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's not the Namor I really got from this. So I don't know. I think that's a really good example of, he had 100% the right motivations, but then the movie was like, we have to make him the bad guy, make him do something bad right now, kill the queen. Whatever. Namor, I don't see as being that unjustified, being a king and dealing with world politics and stuff. Next one we've got is Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think, the second one. I don't see this woman as she's not bad at all.
No, I think she's just a victim of circumstances, and she's positioned as the bad guy, but then you kind of realize that she isn't really.
Well, I guess she does sort of join the side of the heroes. It does surprise me that she still went back down the Black Ops route when we meet up with her back again in Thunderbolts, but she does, I guess, at the end position herself they help her, but positioning her as the bad guy throughout the movie, I think, is just crazy, because like, she's literally fighting for her survival. She's been on the verge of death since she was a child due to technology that the Pims were gatekeeping from her. She was weaponized by S.H.I.E.L.D. since she was a kid. None of that Black Ops stuff can really, be attributed to her choices and her character. And she only really gets violent at the end of the movie because they are actively standing between her and survival.
Yeah, it's kind of like pushing her into a corner.
Yeah, and that is, anyone would react like that. It's like, hey, I need that to live. No.
Yeah.
Fuck. Oh, fuck. No. I don't know. I don't have much to say about this because I think she's just 100% justified.
She's pretty much terminally ill and desperate for survival. So she's got an incredibly sympathetic motivation.
Here's the cure for cancer.
And it's just
get it.
It's just like she's desperate to try and find a cure. And to be fair, she's probably she seems like she's willing to kill and sacrifice others, but that's pretty much it. That's as bad as it gets. Well,
she grew up a traumatized little Black Ops child.
Yeah.
I get that. And most of the people that she's taking out are actively standing between her and imagine if Ant-Man was standing on the other end of the room and he had the cure for cancer in his hands and you're like, bitch, please, please. I would kill anyone in that room. I'd be like, you are being the asshole here. Give me that. And then we're good. This is more on you.
The Campbell beast.
Just wait.
Transform into a fairy. So what's the last one on our list again? I forgot.
The last one on our list is Karli Morgenthau. Which I cannot blame you for forgetting. So I'll just sort of talk at you. You didn't even really watch the show, but basically her whole deal is after the blip. I think this is one where a lot of people talk about within this conversation, but after the blip,
character assassination.
Okay, so half the world's population has disappeared. Thanos did his thing. Borders are opened and people came together to rebuild. Refugees resettled, communities thrived, the resources were shared. Thanos' plan was working in effect and the world is basically seeing peace without borders, that everyone's helping each other. Then everyone blips back into existence and, they're displaced and governments have pushed those people aside. They're herded into camps. People are ignoring their needs. A lot of these places that's shown in the show need medication. They need food. They can't get back into their original homes. It's things like that. 5 years is a long time to build a life. These people have built lives and just been pushed out of it effectively. Karli's just helping these people rebuild effectively. She's giving aid to struggling camps. She's even seen as a hero within the show. And that's pretty much it. And this is one of those cases where if you delete one scene, she did nothing wrong. She's a little bit militant in getting what she needs, but she's literally facing from her perspective, an occupying force that is causing the death of heaps of people and displacement of even more people. She's literally stealing medication to help people. There's one scene, I think in episode 3, where she blows up a GRC building, which is the government organization responsible for this, saying, violence is the only thing these people understand. And there was innocent people in that building. That's the only bad thing she did.
Yeah.
Not that bad. No. Let it go, bro.
Yeah,
no. But no, okay, yeah, that's an example of if you delete that scene, she is justified throughout this whole thing. She did nothing but help people right up until the end, where her desperation in the final fight scene, she was a little bit more violent than normal. Her desperation in the final fight scene might be a little bit more justified then, because her plan's about to come to fruition and all the forces are closing in on her. I think this show would have been much better if they didn't include that bit, At this point, her allies are dying, stuff like that. She gets a little bit more violent at the end of the series. But if you don't include the blowing up of the GRC building, we're gravy, baby. She's the good guy in this. That's absolutely fine. She's done nothing that heroes haven't done themselves, or heroes should have probably been doing at this point in time. Anyway, if you delete that, yeah, she's the hero. I don't really see her blowing up that building as helping her plan at all. It's just like Zemo, killing the king of Wakanda. It doesn't change her plot point. Anyway, I know. What do you have to say about this show that you haven't seen?
Not much. I mean, I don't really have much of an opinion because she's famously, I do remember that people are just like, what the fuck? There's just this immediate right heel turn or left heel turn, I think the saying is, that she just was like, oh yeah, I'm a leader, I'm trying to do this thing. Oh, I blew up a hospital. And it's just like, okay, yeah. Cool. I just never found her character to be, intention aside, I just never really found it to be a believable character, or that this person was the leader of this group of extremists. It's just we're fighting for a cause and we're gonna make this chick our leader. She didn't really seem to possess the leadership qualities or I just couldn't buy her as the leader of this group. And then when
I think it's just because she's the only one with superhero serum at the start.
sure, and
Or
then
like the first one.
and then like
Which, yeah, I still agree with you.
yeah, and then like the thing happens, and it's just like, yeah, well, I guess you gotta do something in the show, right? Like, I don't know.
All it did was crack Falcon, John Walker, and Bucky on a case even harder. Like,
Yeah.
it didn't help her at all.
Yeah.
Dumb. Anyway, all right. Well, to wrap up our little ramble today, which out of the people that we've talked about do you think is just straight up the most heroic, or who
The most
should have
right.
been the hero?
The most correct.
right villain? Yeah.
I think that the most realistic, or the villain that has the strongest case for their point or their motivations, I think I was originally going to say it was Thanos, because I'm like, oh yeah, like he had a plan, he stuck to it, and it was in a way
Got it crazy in the end.
it was I think I can't remember how he described it, but it was fair. It didn't pick favorites. There was no favoritism. It's just that if you were caught up in the blip, it's just bad luck. It's just what happens. But I think actually, now that we've talked about it, I actually think I'm going to go with Zemo.
Yeah, I think Zemo as well.
Yeah.
I think either Zemo or Ghost. Really.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Like either Zemo or Ghost. Well, I guess Ghost is painted as the least villainous towards the end of this whole thing. Zemo's still in prison.
Yeah.
Ghost is a part of the new Avengers.
Now that you say that, I think I would go with Ghost as well, because hers wasn't necessarily the motivation wasn't to harm other people necessarily. It was the means was to try and fix her issue or to cure herself. And obviously if there's collateral damage, then that's just what happens. But
it's more on them keeping the cure away from us.
Yeah. But then again, with Zemo, he's just like, I want everyone to see. Actually, no, it can't be Zemo, because he's just like, I'm going to blow up these people over here. So, yeah, so I think it's Ghost.
Kill the king. Yeah. All right. Ghost has it. All right. Well, thank you for our little chat today. I'm pretty much the same. Like I just said Zemo, but I think you're right. He did do a couple. He is even more militant than Ghost.
Yeah.
Is effectively a terrorist. And to be honest, he could have done everything he wanted to do just by being like an Edward Snowden type leak activist. Like he could have just gone, here's all the times the Avengers have killed people, governments. Why
and
don't
also
you put
buy
something in charge of
Bitcoin.
that?
Yeah.
But instead he was like, I'm going to make them fight each other, and I'm going to leak that Bucky killed Iron Man's parents. And that's a little bit, mustache twirling villain. When he could have literally just, maybe just started a GoFundMe or like a campaign or something, and probably got, someone. But it's a good idea to be looking after what the Avengers are doing after they blow up a whole country. So,
dude, if anything, he could have just he could have done everyone a solid, right? So he's like, somehow he's got this super access to all of this information and data and this dirt on the Avengers and these superheroes, where he could have used that to get dirt on the Epstein files and release that information and do the whole world
He's on the list. He's on the list. He was rich in Falcon and Winter Soldier. You find out he's rich. He was definitely, that's why he didn't do it.
He's in cahoots with that orange man.
He can't be the good guy now. Okay, well, it's definitely Ghost.
He's off the list. He's off the list.
He's off our list. He's on another one.
Not the Epstein list.
It's on another one.
No, there's too many lists.
There's too many lists. I don't think Ghost would have been on that list.
No, I don't think she would have been either.
All right. Let's wrap it there.
All right.
Thank you for listening, and we'll catch you on the next one.
All right. Bye.